Hello, everybody. This is the Lamley Showcase. Let's keep on the topic of Hot Wheels Super Treasure Hunts. We're in the middle of the 2025 Lamley Awards. You are voting for the best Super Treasure Hunt of 2025. There's a link down below if you haven't done that yet. But I thought, as I opened all these up and added the 2025 Supers to my collection, I was like, why don't we revisit my Super Treasure Hunt collection and figure out what were the best Super Treasure Hunts of all time? And the reason I'm doing it right now, because I get this question a lot, is why not? We have all the Supers. And the other point is, if I do this again in a year, it would probably be completely different. So I'm excited to do this. It's totally going to be in real time. I have no idea what I'm going to select as my top 3, top 10. So ultimately what we're going to do is I have my entire Super Treasure Hunt collection here, all loose cars. I've opened them up, as you know, from the last few years. I have well, I'll just show you as we go. I've got everything from the last few years and then more like of the stuff that I've liked the most of the years prior, and we'll talk about that. But ultimately, we're going to go through each one. I'm going to pull out about 10 or 15, hopefully, if I'm disciplined enough, that I think deserve consideration for the top, we could say top 5, literally. It could be top 10, top 5. We'll see where we get. But I will ultimately have 3 that I will pick as my top 3. And we're going to go with the criteria that really kind of dictated how I did 2025. If you remember 2025, and you don't remember because I just did the video, and go look at it if you haven't, is I really focused on executed Super Treasure Hunts. That's a squirrel. And just like I did consider castings that I liked for the most part, but for example, the Audi wasn't my favorite. It's a casting I really enjoy, but it didn't get, I think it was even in the bottom 5. I liked everything except for the Jeep, really. But ultimately, my Super of the Year was the Aston Martin, then followed by the Mustang with the fantastic Spectre Flame Red and Gold rims, and then the purple Hero Hada Merc with the moon eyes, with the moon discs and everything. I just thought the execution on these 3 was fantastic. And right below that was the Golf RS200, which is not in this case, but is in the other one. So I thought, get this out of the way, I would go through and using that criteria of just like really, really beautifully done, well done, kind of pop off the shelf kind of thing, executed Super Treasure Hunts. And that could be a completely different list next year. Favorites, something like that. But I'm going to try and come up with a list in real time, going through my collection of those that I think are the best executed Super Treasure Hunts. So first thing we're going to do, now these are not I don't think these are exactly in order, but I'm going to go through these and I'm going to pick out 10 to 15, and then we're going to try and come up with the top 10. So some of these are older. Now, one thing I really want to do is, again, I don't think these are in order of releases, and there's gaps here, and obviously you can see I have some regulars that are paired with the Supers. This goes back so many years that, at least 10, I think, that I don't have, the way I don't collect the way I collect now. Like, I have the Supers, and I have their basic counterparts on the other side of the case. And we'll get to that in a little bit, but these are old. Now, what I would love to do, a collection I would like to complete, this is the very first Super Treasure Hunt that was like the upgraded basic. Before that, Super Treasure Hunts were upgraded versions of Treasure Hunt. So you had the regular Treasure Hunt, and then you had the Super Treasure Hunt. But now you have just the regular model, and then one of those models is upgraded to be the Super. This Chevelle is the very first one of those. No, the very first one was maybe was it a Roadrunner or something like that? This might have been the second. Nonetheless, this is one of the first 2 or 3. Some of these are from that first year of these Super Treasure Hunts that are upgraded regulars. I would like to have that, when they started that, whatever year that was, 2012, 11, I don't remember. I would like to have the Super and the regular of each of these and have an entire collection dating all the way up to now. And that's probably something I'll start pursuing, and I can document it as I go. So, but I don't have some, I have some of the regulars of these Supers, but, and here's another one, here's an example, and I'll just be talking through this video because it's real time, so it might be super long. I love this casting. I really love this Super, but I would not call it a best executed Super. And as a matter of fact, as I look at these, I like the truck, but I didn't like the design. I think this is a beautifully executed Super, the Honda S2000. We'll talk about that one. That one's going to go on the list. These are all very, very nice. I have always liked this one, the Cadillac, the Corvette. But I'm going to say this one is the other one I really want to add to the list when we're going to these old ones, is this Torino. Yeah, the 69 Ford Torino in this racing Deco. maybe it doesn't pop as much as other Spectre Flame, but this one is just so beautifully executed. And I do think that, you know, it's the upgrade from the regular. That's a big criteria. Does it lean into a theme? I think that's something cool. So like racing, when they just kind of like go all out on a particular theme. We'll get to that. You'll see that kind of executed in this one, the racing, and then you get these Steelies, these deep dish, you know, racing Steelies and the Goodyear tires. Everything about this one is just so beautifully executed. So that one goes on the list as well. But that is all I would add from this one, from the old one. And there's some great super treasure hunts in there. Of course, you can keep this going as you would like, and you know, as you want to go along, and you can tell me what you would put on that list. Love this one. This is one of the only super treasure hunts that has an upgraded metal chassis. The reason is this casting was built for premium, a line that never happened. It was a racing line. That mix was canceled, so they had the molds with the metal chassis, and they just turned it into the super treasure hunt, and the regular was plastic chassis. People think that supers have always done that, upgrading the chassis. That's not the case, actually. That's one of the only ones that has an upgraded metal chassis. So I love it, but I'm not in. This is a no-brainer. This is some of my best supers of all time lists before is the Moon Eyes van. I still love it. I live with the moon discs, like that leans into a theme as a Moon Eyes super treasure hunt. It remains the only Moon Eyes super treasure hunt we've had, I think. And the fact that they put the Real Rider moons, it's garbage, man. I've always loved that. This is a nice one. This one is really nice in gold, but I think they've upgraded. It's still great with the 5 spokes. I'm going to pass on it for now as best executed super, but this one did win my best super of the year it came out in the Lamley Awards. I'm putting it in. Putting it in. Love that one. Love that one, but I wouldn't put those on the list. Even the Datsun 510, if I was doing the most iconic supers of all time, and maybe next year I will, that would be in the list, and that would be on the list, and so would that. But I don't think any of them go. But then this one, this would be iconic as well. I think with that Chrome Steelies, that one goes on the list too. And I said I was going to be 15. I'm already up to. Let's see, 5. All right, let's go. We're still in this list where I don't have the basic counterparts. I'm doing super treasure hunts, so what will be disqualified here will be this. This is a regular treasure hunt from 2020, or it was regular at the time, from 2005. First treasure hunt I ever found. It was in a Kmart case. This one I think is a tremendously executed super treasure hunt, the Mustang. But I'm gonna, I don't know. Yeah, it's just so cool. It just leans into that. The wheels, the Goodyear tires. All right, I'm putting it in. Putting it on the list. This one, absolutely. I think it's one of the all-time supers as well. Ghost Flame, Super Treasure Hunt, Batmobile. Oh, look. There's that version with Ghost, and then the Zamak. This one had quite the run that year. That one goes in there as a consideration. All of these other ones, I love the Steelies on this one. There's another Batmobile. Not the Roadster, because it's not that one, and I don't have to say it. The Falcon Super, I've definitely considered that one. This one was released 2 years in a row as a Super Treasure Hunt. That one's pretty good, but I don't think I'd put it in the list. You can see I have some random stuff kind of mixed in here as well, but... Oh, I have another Moon Eyes. That's my bad. I have this. I think one of these needs to go in my Moon Eyes collection. Really nice. This one. I've always thought this one is one of those that I really like, because not only because the execution is great with the Steelies, but this is a lean into a classic Hot Wheels design. They redid the 67 Camaro in this classic flame deco from early 80s, late 70s, and turned it into a super treasure hunt, and I thought that was brilliant. So like really leaning into a theme. That one definitely gets high marks for execution and is in there. Porsche's nice. That one's beautiful. That one's actually really nice too. And okay, I don't see anything else that really pops. Mystery Machine Super, people really like that one. If you can see it, I go down like there. There's the Mystery Machine. I don't know. I would consider that one, but I don't know if it pops the way it looks. Just too much like the premium Mystery Machines that we've seen from pop culture. Did we do? Yeah, we've done both sides of that one. All right, where are we at? Okay, now I think we get into when I started collecting supers and regulars. So there's all the regulars. We're not even going to worry about those. They're standard releases. And then on the other side is their Super Treasure Hunt counterpart. So this is, like I said, once they started doing Super Treasure Hunts like this, I would love to have that entire collection. And I think I will try and pursue that. Now let's see if any of these hit that in terms of execution. I mean, there's a lot of favorites here. This is obviously a major hype one. I would definitely consider this one. This one was famous for not having any real riders on it. This was when we're doing the 50th anniversary. I don't know if any of these I'd put on the list. I mean, there's some I really like. This one maybe. Unless I can't come up with 15, I'm not going to put any of these in. They're all really nice. This one is the one I would consider, but I think they've done better gold ones since, but I don't know. It really is cool. But we're going to pass for now. And see how quick that was? That's the entire collection because it's just the supers. Same here. All right. We've also got some repeats here now. There's going to be a couple coming from here, I think. There's that Corvette again. There's a fair amount of repeats, actually, which is interesting, of castings. In fact, see, here's the Dodge Demon, and then it was done again, and that is actually one that I would put in. I've thought this Super Treasure Hunt in this racing livery in gold with these rims is just, it leans into that kind of modern muscle vibe with the color and the design and the real riders chosen. So that is one I would definitely put on the list for sure. That one goes in. This one does too. I still think the RS200 is better, but this is one of the original Gulf Super Treasure Hunts that they did, and I always thought that one, in terms of execution, needs to go up there. This one was really cool. I'm not going to put it in, but this one was really cool because it was the first Super Treasure Hunt that was a completely different color than its regular. The regular was white with red stripes. This was the anniversary GTR deco that Nissan did, and Hot Wheels decided, similar to how they did Rexy Roxy, to change the rules for supers and do this super in blue with white stripes as opposed to instead of an enhanced version of the white with the red stripe. So I always thought that was cool. But I think in terms of overall execution, what I'm looking for here, I'm not going to put it in. This one I thought was beautifully executed. Really cool upgrade from the regular. This one is also beautiful. I would consider this one, but I'm going to say that, I don't know, there's some others that I think fall in line with this, just beautiful, like, clean Super Treasure Hunt upgrade. And this one I thought was really nice too, the way they did the rims. But I think, and this one too, I'd actually really consider. This one, like the Batmobile, had a great run that year. The regular blue version, the Super Treasure Hunt, and then the Zamak. I'm tempted on this one, but I'm gonna pass. I'm trying to keep a high bar here. This one was really nice too. So was this one. There's just so many Super Treasure Hunts to love, and I feel like I'm gonna regret passing on some of these for this list of executed supers, but no, yeah, we're going to pull from here. We are definitely going to pull from here. Which ones do we pull? Well, I would actually consider this one because it's another clean super that followed that 300ZX. This purple one is gorgeous. The Corvette is actually really cool. You know which one is going to come because it's a hype one and it's also really, really well done. But I'm just trying to see if there's any others that I would consider. This is one. The HKS Super, but it was pretty close to the regular version. This is an of course, right? This is a of course Super Treasure Hunt. The Gold Nugget, as it is, it is a hype super, but it's also a fabulous super. It had it was a tribute Super Treasure Hunt to Ryo Asada. It just hit every note. It still does. It's incredibly popular. It's one of the highest priced on the secondary market. And that's not what I'm going for here, but it is just, I just love how they executed that one. This is one also that I just thought was so beautifully done. Very clean with the stripe, the JDM Legends design on the back, and the way they did the Watanabe rims, it goes in as well. So there we go. There's the regulars. I still would consider that RX-7, but all right. What are we pulling from here? I know we're pulling one. It hits on the favorite list, but I also think it hits on the executed list. It's not that one. I'm just making sure it doesn't fall out. Love that one. Love that one. Love that one. Love that one. Actually, really love this one. It has to. It has to. The pink with the white rims. Leeway just went to town on this one. He knew when he decided to do a 510 again. Now it's not as famous and as sought after as the original 510 Super Treasure Hunt, but this one is like Leeway knew what he was doing, playing with the iconic casting, and made it just really, really fun in pink with this crazy design. It's a great Super Treasure Hunt. It's exactly what a Super Treasure Hunt should be. And then also drawing from this, while there's also a ton of great ones here, I know that this is a favorite casting. It's been well documented, but I love, in terms of the clean supers, we have a couple here. I go with this one over like that RX-7 at 300ZX because this one leans into the era that this came in. Red with the red rims is perfect. And this was, you know, while it was the regular version of this was just, I can't remember what wheels were on it, but they weren't red. And this red with red rims is so 80s, and this car is like the perfect 80s, just VIP, just the best car. I love the casting, and the fact that they did the super red with red rims is a subtle and simple but perfect upgrade for a Super Treasure Hunt. They used the Super Treasure Hunt idea to perfection. Well, I said I don't remember what the regular was. Why don't we just look at it? Yeah, it had the, were those the MC5 wheels, I think, or 5 spokes in black? Oh yeah, they were those like mag wheels. Yeah, and it was nice, but the Super Treasure Hunt was just next level perfect. And then we have to go to the most current. So half of 2024 and most of 2023. Oh, wrong side. And if I'm going to, in terms of executed supers, there's a couple that are going to come out of here for sure. One is this one. Just to lean into that fantastic, iconic 787 Le Mans winning Deco. I love that they did it as a Super Treasure Hunt. That one goes in, and then of course the winner for me. And let's let it represent, because I would just as easily put in this one. In fact, no, I said it. I'm going to say it. It's going to put it in there, because you could put this one or this one in as well. But I'll just let the Aston Martin dictate, or like kind of like, and even the RS200 I'd put in there, but we'll let the GT40 represent that one. I would, based on the votes, I might put, you know what, I'm going to go with what, you guys are voting this one higher than the Aston, and as much as I say the Aston is the winner, I think the Hirohata Merc can be a better representative for best executed super of all time, because that's the list we're doing. All right, we have a list. Now, and I won't count, I know I have some of the sneak peeks from 2026. Honda could be up there. I wouldn't put that one there, but this one also leans into a theme, but we're not there yet. But the auto, that one I'd consider, but it's not. So I would have, you know, we'll wait for them in 2026, right? All right, let's move that. And let's figure out a winner. All right, we came up with 16. Now we got to figure out, should we do a top 5? Let's do a top 5. All right, now I've got to slim this down to 5, and then I got to rank them in the top 5. This is going to be tough, because I'm saying that one of these is the best Super Treasure Hunt of all time, as the title of the video says. So what are the most no-brainers? The Gold Nugget, I'm trying not to go just by icons, because if I did, I'd have the Gasser in there, I'd have the 510, the original 510. But this one hits it all, because it is just this all gold Honda Civic. It just, I don't know, there's just something perfect about it. This one, I think the Batmobile, it's been an iconic casting. It also was just so beautifully done in this gray, and then you have to really look close to see the ghost flames on that one. So I think that one's a lean in. I'm going to say this one, because this one is the epitome of upgrades. Because, you know what I'm going to do, let me find that case. One of the reasons I think it's such a great Super Treasure Hunt is because of the amount of upgrades it got. And I think that And it's not always going to be the case. Leeway talked a little bit about this, that he likes to make the supers look very different. I don't know who did this design, but let me show you the regular one. Here's the regular one. It's kind of a satin blue. Obviously, the upgrade, you're going to get Spectre Flame blue for sure, and you're going to get Real Rider. So that's normal. So from a side view, you could say, all right, you got its Real Riders upgrade. It got its satin blue to Spectre Flame blue. But now, check out what else is going on here. This one has no deco on the top at all. I think it has in the back. It does in the back. It has taillights, and it has the Honda deco. It has no headlight tampos. It has no hood tampo and no roof tampo. So you could just have gone with Super Treasure Hunt and said, all right, Real Rider, Spectre Flame, and then just, you know, upgrade that, put a TH logo on it, and you're done. But that's not what happened here. Look at this. Not only does it get additional AEM deco, but it also gets, you know, that red stripe, which they could have stopped there. But no, it also has a matte black roof and a matte black hood. So they added that element, which looks totally different and gives it a total sporty look. And it got headlights. So it got a completely separate pass. And I don't know, because of the colors in the matte black, I don't know how they did it all at once. Maybe they did it as tampos. But it's still not done. So Real Riders, Spectre Flame paint, additional deco, additional details like the headlights. But look at the chassis. It also got a chrome chassis. Totally different. VUM, as they call it, right? I mean, upgraded in every sense of the word. And so from that, it just, and it also looks fabulous. So that's up there as in the top 5. So now we got to come up with 2 more. I'm going to put the Camaro in. It also is an iconic casting, kind of old school iconic. And I love the throwback to old school Hot Wheels and old school design. So now we have one other. Push these back a little bit. All of these are fabulous. I'd put I mean, my goodness. We got to pick one more. This is tough. I'd consider this one in terms of execution. I would consider this one, which I still would consider my favorite Super Treasure Hunt, if not top 3. Same with that one. I'd be too biased with this one. I'm trying to really stay focused on execution. I'd be biased by putting this one in because I just love it so much. I look at all of these. This one is really cool in terms of that same execution. All pretty old. I mean, this one's the most recent. This one's very cool. I think this one leans into the iconic. So does the Combi. But you know which one I think I'm going to go with? I kind of put it in as a secondary, but to represent. But I think it's this one. Because 2025 was such a great year of execution supers. There wasn't the Gold Nugget 510 wagon kind of vibe or Silverado that some of these years have, but in terms of execution, this was next level. And so there's your 5th. Let's rank them. All right, you see how hard this is? I'm like instantly, as soon as I hit send on this video, I'm going to totally change my opinion. In fact, I set a reminder just now during the gap as I was setting this up to do a video next year, a year from now, after we figure out what the best of 2026 is going to be, to do the most iconic supers. And so if someone came to me and said, I want to do a Super Treasure Hunt collection, what's the best? These are the 5 that I would say select, at least right now. Who knows? Next year, maybe we'll rank the most iconic. Like, what are the ones? This one would be in there, the Datsun wagon, the Gasser, the Silverado, and who knows, maybe the F40 from this year. Who knows? But the 599XX, we didn't even talk about that one. That one's pretty sweet, too. So anyway, and hopefully I can even build up my Super Treasure Hunt collection a little more next year, go back and try and find some of those to fill some of those gaps. Nonetheless, let's rank these 5. I'm going to put this one at number 5, and we'll do it over here. Just because still too new. So it gets the 5 spot. The number 4 spot is going to be the Gold Nugget. And I think it falls into the iconic category for sure. It also, when I'm talking about best executed, it's beautifully executed as a gold clean super. But I think these other 3 rank above it in terms of execution. I know that there's no additional deco on this one, but I just love how they did this Batmobile Super Treasure Hunt. It's just, there's so many iconic versions of this casting, like the gold convention model, some of the other premium, but this one is just that, and this and the Zamek from the same year are just so great. And I'm going to put this one as number 3. Then it comes down to 2. So I'm just going to say it right now. There's your number 1. And I've already explained why. Not just straight up execution and upgrades, but it's a fabulous model. It is iconic. It's actually Ryo Asada's, if this is a tribute, this is also Ryo Asada's very first Hot Wheels casting, so it falls into that category too. And then this one just right behind it, just in terms of the lean into Hot Wheels nostalgia, and then the execution with the chrome steelies. Chrome rims on Super Treasure Hunts is just, it doesn't have to be every Super Treasure Hunt, but it always works when you get chrome rims. In fact, chrome, 4 of the 5 have chrome rims when it comes to, I think, the best executed Super Treasure Hunts. And strangely, all of, not as many, I guess maybe the Combi. Anyway, so there's your second place, second best executed, and there is your first for a billion different reasons, not just the upgrades. But if someone were to ask me, what are the best Super Treasure Hunts? And I'm going to say, if you're talking about best executed, there's your 5 to have right now. And like I said, that list might change tomorrow because you can't go wrong. I mean, there's so many good ones here that would fall into that list. But if we're talking iconic, which we'll do a year from now, who knows? Might be a completely different list. And I've set the reminder on my phone to remember. Hopefully we'll do it. All right, I want to know your list. Execution. Let's talk best execution. What would you put in your 15, or what would you put as your top 5? Where did I get it right? Where did I get it wrong? I love those. I love nerding out on that kind of stuff. So let's do it. Thanks, everybody. Go vote on the best of 25 if you haven't already. Bye.